I know it's been a while, but I finally gotten around to making another Dark Souls video. In this episode, we're going down through the depths after beating Capra Demon in the last episode, and we're going to explore that area as well as the sewers and see if we can beat the Gaping Dragon. So if you come here for the very first time, it's definitely recommended that you buy at least one blooming purple moss clump because you will face the toxic blow dart users and you do not want to get toxic. Now I already have 3 from when I went to Blighttown earlier, so I'm not going to, but it's definitely a worthwhile investment, I would say. So we're still just pumping everything into dexterity. Probably gonna go to 40 dexterity before I level up anything else just to get that max damage output early on. So the sewers is a pretty interesting area. It's kind of like a love it or hate it thing. I know a lot of people who like it a lot, and then I know a lot of people who really can't stand it at all. At first I really didn't like it myself, but once you kind of figure out the way and know how everything connects, it's a pretty nice area, I think. At the very start here, for example, you can actually do this jump from up here to clear that little rail there, and it will drop you right down with the butchers, and it's the fastest way to get through this area, but let's see if I can demonstrate it. I will have to switch to 30 frames per second. So at 30 frames per second we should be able to just sail right over it. And you just bounce off and you're immediately down here with the dog and the butcher, even though I'm not entirely sure where she went. Also, fun fact, the butchers are actually female. Pretty sure this has been confirmed in the official Dark Souls guidebook as well as in interviews. Really doesn't seem like it, but yes, they are female. Also, definitely don't forget to pick up the large ember, because you'll need it to upgrade your weapons from +5 to +10. Now, where is the butcher though? It's quite interesting that she disappeared. Did she fall through here already? Oh wow, okay. That was horror movie-esque. And as with plenty of other human-like enemies, you can actually parry these. You can't do a riposte, but you can parry their normal attacks, just like that. Pretty sure you just can't parry their slam down, where they use both hands to slam down their butcher's knife. Also, if you go over here, you can actually already see the second butcher up there. She's waiting just above me right there. As you can tell, standing right around the corner waiting for you to drop down, and she doesn't do anything at first, she just stands there up on her little ledge, but once you keep moving across a certain line, she will just drop down and come behind you, try and kill you. And once you kill the second butcher, she will always drop the sack to put on your head. Now once you get down here, you'll come across the first slime. They're very hard to see because they stick up to the dark, but you can see it slowly moving around way up there. Big slimy blob. They're very weak to fire, but otherwise they're very resilient to any other kind of attacks. And you can actually evade getting eaten by this one to try and get the item there. As you can tell, I was unsuccessful on my first try because I wanted to see how long I could wait before rolling away, but if you just roll into the corner and back, you should just be able to get out of there pretty easily. And then to kill them is just hitting them over and over and over. And the thing is, if you keep hitting them, they never actually grow large enough to do their attack, because every time they take damage it resets. Behind the butcher's table you can find somewhat of a hidden area, small hole in the ground that drops down on a pile of meat and bones, and you will actually find this giant rat, which you otherwise can only see from behind that fence over there. If you get through the depths normally, and the rat is pretty similar to the Asylum Demon in the sense that you can also perform that double hit glitch on it. I'll see if I can manage this time around. Yeah, as you can tell, it hit twice and killed it instantly. And pretty fun fact, you can still see that it has a battle axe stuck in its eye, and up there you will find the spider shield, which I just picked up, which is the official shield of the bandit. So at one point there was a bandit down here trying to kill it, and he probably got eaten and still managed to stick his axe in her eye. So once you kill the giant rat, you'll find that there's actually a few ways to leave this room. There's a doorway to the side over there, but you can also actually slide down this waterfall, I guess you can call it, and basically skip a part of the map. Now if you go through the middle of the waterfall, you'll just fall down the hole at the bottom and you will end in this pit area with basilisks, which are the big cursed frogs, and so you definitely want to avoid that. But if you go over to the very sides and just hug the wall as you slide down, you will actually slide right past the hole and you'll end up right in front of the boss fight. So right there, those are the big gates to Blighttown, and if you turn to the right there, you will find yourself in front of the fog gate with the boss. So it's a very easy way to skip a big part of the map, and it's what speedrunners use. And if you then go up here, run up the stairs, open this door, you can actually find this somewhat hidden shortcut and make your way through this door, which you will open, kill the hollow, and you are at the bonfire. So that is the most efficient way to basically get through the sewers. Also, at this point of the game, there's a pretty interesting glitch you can do with one of the butchers. Basically, as you know, there's a number of slopes in the game, and when you slide down them, you get this special sliding animation. But this kind of animation does not exist for most enemies in the game. So when you do end up getting them on a slope, interesting stuff can happen. For example, with this butcher, if you get her all the way to the slope and you lure her down into the hole with the big rat first and then just parry her all the way to the edge, she will very, very slowly slide down the slope and she will completely glitch out. She'll just twist and turn all over the place and she will hold out her arms to her sides. And for those of you who are familiar with game development, you'll know that this is like the default position for a character model to be in. Now this hollow right here, this torch hollow, you have to be careful with that one because he's a massive asshole. He has killed me several times before when I made it all the way through the depths and then came back to unlock the shortcut, and he's just waiting behind the door and just swipes you a few times with his torch and you're done for. So definitely be careful with that one. And also on the ceiling here you can see many of the slimes. They will drop down if you try to run through, so probably best to stick to, I think this side is the one that you can get through relatively easily, and then you have to cross over somewhere in the middle is the optimal route, but yeah, probably recommend to just go around, as I did. So the reason I reversed my hollowing and I'm now playing as a human is because there's going to be an NPC invader that shows up in a little bit, and of course I want them to invade me. So before you go ahead and fight the boss, it's really recommended that you kill this channeler up here first, because if you don't, the channeler can actually interfere during the fight later. So the boss arena is down there, and the channeler will just sit up here and he will shoot down soul arrows at you, which can damage and eventually kill you. Now that is not the worst part though, because the channeler also has this boost attack which increases the damage of all enemies around him. And normally he just uses it on small enemies like these rats, or earlier we saw the hollows in the church, but up from this spot he can also cast it on the boss itself, and you definitely want to avoid fighting this boss with a damage boost. So once you get down to the lower levels, you will actually be facing these basilisks or cursed frogs. As you know, they will exhale this grayish breath cloud attack, and if you stand in it too long you'll actually get cursed. And what being cursed does is it instantly turns you into stone and kills you instantly, and once you respawn you will do so with health, and the only way you can get back to full health is by using one of the purging stones that I told you to buy earlier, or to get through a disease healer which you can't access until later in the game. Other fun fact is that people who get cursed by these frogs, they will basically spawn into another world like this. This is the exact spot where this person died in his own world, and we get to see him now. Now another pretty interesting thing about these basilisks is that they look like they have eyes on the top of their head, but they really don't. It's a very common misconception for people to think that they are their eyes, but they are just a method of distraction, kind of like real creatures in the animal kingdom. They are just there to make other creatures and potential predators think that they have really big eyes and are able to see everything. But in reality, their actual eyes are way down there. It's very hard to tell, but I'll show a picture to show it more clearly. But yeah, those two big things which really look a lot like eyes are actually not their eyes at all. That was pretty scary. I didn't know they could follow you in here actually. Also, they can drop the Eye of Death, and that is an item that you need to access the Gravelord Covenant. So if you ever want to be a part of that Covenant, here's where you can get a lot of easy Eye of Deaths. That was close though. If he had come a little farther, he would have been able to lock me in and I would have nowhere to run. As you can tell, there's a lot of poor souls down here that fell to the curse of the basilisk. Don't end up like them. So remember earlier I was talking about the end of the waterfall that dropped you in like a pit with the basilisks and rats? Well, this is where it ends up. So if you stick to the side, you can just slide right past and end close to the boss. But if you don't, you'll fall down here and there will be rats and basilisks around the corner. At this point we should be getting invaded by, there we go, Knight Kirk. Knight of Thorns. So one of the things that he does is bleed you quite badly. Oh, I thought it was gonna swing. So, definitely want to avoid that. It's pretty easy to parry though, it seems. Yeah, not much of a challenge at all. And if I'm not mistaken, you can fight him several times and every time you kill him he will drop a different weapon or piece of his armor. Alright, so let's see if we can go ahead and kill the Gaping Dragon. So you can do a whole lot of damage if you can get up to its head like that. It ragdolls all over the place as well, so just get a few hits in and then just move to the side and let him charge. So you always want to go and try cut off the tail, even if you're not interested in the weapon that it drops, which is a really heavy strength weapon. I already got it because this is my second attempt. I kind of ran into him while he was doing his charge attack, and even though I thought I was in the clear already, it still damaged me just from bumping into him, so it was a bit of a shame, but you definitely want to go ahead and just get the tail either way, because he has this pretty strong tail swipe attack, which covers a whole lot of ground, and well, without the tail he will still try to do the attack. It's quite funny, but he'll never succeed, because obviously he doesn't have a tail. So let's bait out an attack so we can actually move on. I'm waiting for him to do his slam down attack. That's the one you want, because then you can just get a few hits in on his head, move away again, and then attack his tail or his back. See, and that was his swipe attack, but obviously without an actual tail doesn't do much. Come on. That was too close for comfort. I should sprint or at least try to roll away from that next time. So, oh, nope. There wasn't enough room for him to do his charge attack, which is a shame, because it's the attack you can punish most easily. The only attack I'm somewhat worried about is his puking attack, because actually I don't remember if it does damage. If it doesn't, then I'm perfectly in the clear, because what it does is it will degrade your armor and your weapons, which isn't that much of an issue. But if it would actually cause damage to me, then that might be a bit of a problem. Got a bit greedy there, but I was hoping to get the slash, the bleed damage off, which I guess I didn't, but still. Come on, do your slam attack. No. Doesn't seem like it. There's a puke attack. It spreads out really far. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can get one hit in, please. I can't, that was really bad. Oh, at least he follows up with his charge attack. If he does one more of those, we should be able to kill him. You really never just want to go in for damage unless he has done one of his main attacks, because he can just stab backwards and cause damage by just stepping on you. And now he's just spamming the same attack without a tail. Poor guy. And there we go, that's the Gaping Dragon. Gives a lot of souls though, 25,000 if I remember correctly. As well as the Blighttown key, which obviously we need to go ahead and get into Blighttown. Not that we haven't already been there, but now we're going in there through the normal route. And that's going to be it for this episode. We've managed to add the Gaping Dragon to our list of bosses we beat without taking a single hit. Next episode we're heading down into Blighttown and see if we can take down Quelaag as well. Thank you for watching.